Every single one, not one exception. Every conservative I know is outraged. The president acted swiftly and was adamant in his remarks from the get-go.
Thank God for that, Sean. But this wasn't just murder, Sean. This was torture. This was cruel. This was a kind of wanton, reckless disregard for the man's rights, for his life. And the picture I'll never forget, aside, of course, from the knee on the man's neck, was the smug look on the officer's face.
You know, that smug look, I mean, I seen it as soon as I seen the video. And that tells me that he's, that he's no stranger to doing this type of stuff. And I guarantee you, if you were to look up any of his complaints on him or any of that kind of stuff, you would see that there's more to it than this. I bet he's had some prior complaints, because you don't have that smug look on your face, and you don't do all that when people are begging you not to kill the man.
As passersby were telling him that George Floyd was dying right there, he still disregarded the man's life and proceeded to kill him in a way that seemed to me intentional, to cut off the artery, to cause permanent brain damage, if not the death that ultimately happened. It is horrifying, and I say this. I cannot for a second, with 50 years experience in this business, believe that if this man was a white man, that would have happened.
See there? Gerardo just lost me. He lost me. He doesn't think that for 1 minute, 1 second, he does not think that officer with the smug killer-looking eyes, I mean, his eyes look like Stone Cold Killer. Are you telling me that not for 1 second that officer would do that to a white man? Are you shitting me, Gerardo? That this is the nonsense we got to hear out of dummies like this. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, here's the thing. What the guy no doubt killed him. You know, the officer, he killed him. He killed that man who was defenseless. There's no doubt. But you know what was the worser crime, if that's the word? You know what was the worst about it? Is the officers who stood around and protected the murderer. They protected the murderer to give him a little more time so that he could commit the murder. The other officers kept the citizens who wanted to protect. The other officers wanted to protect that man's life. They were going to save his life. And they were getting closer and closer. And they was this close. If there only would have been the murdering officer there, those citizens would have jumped in there. And I think they would have saved the man's life. And they would have probably got charged with interfering, obstruction, all kinds of crap. Assault on an officer, who knows what would be. You know, because officers have qualified immunity. You know, it's so much. I mean, you don't even have a defense. Most judges, most prosecutors, they're going to run as far as they can with it. And the judges, they're going to prosecute you. You know, what are you trying to be, a lifesaver? No. Only our officers can be lifesavers. No, you can't save somebody's life from an officer. But do you see how I view it as those officers, that Asian officer, Gerardo. Oh, if it wasn't. And then Maxine Waters, white supremacy. It's all about white supremacy. That's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. That's all distracting. It's all division. They're trying to divide. It's fake. It's a fraud. It's deception, intentional deception. It's about none of that. None of it. I have 30 more seconds. Just think about who committed the worst crime. The officer who did the killing, or the other officers, the 3 or 4 officers who not only watched and did nothing to stop the man from dying, to stop the man from killing, to stop the murderer. Not only did they not do that, they protected the murderer. protected the murderer. They said, no, citizens, don't you come near. He needs a little bit more time to kill this man. You think that's what the agent was saying? Or do you think that they're just like this? They're like that. All right, I got to go. I'm at 5 minutes. Let me know what you think. I'm sure I'm going to get annihilated by the social media, citizens running around. Oh, how dare you, Larry? How dare you? Well, I do dare, and I do cross the line. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Adios.